Okay, so now we're going to talk about hanging gates. This is one of the things that the individual wanted to talk about because they wanted to talk about their circuitry and they wanted to talk about how these hanging gates impact them. So first of all, what are hanging gates? Hanging gates are these gates that are not complete channels, right? So for this one, it is 46, does not connect to 29, okay? So they have a hanging gate. So these are those gates that are not fully connected to where you don't have a full channel. Okay, so that's first off. Let's get that out the way. And what's so interesting, so here's the thing, right? Because now we're talking about openness. Now we're talking about receptivity. When I talk about the definition, let's go back for a minute. When I talk about definition, like whether it's through the centers, through the channels, I see it as, what are you broadcasting to the world? What is a consistent frequency in which you are broadcasting to us? What are you putting out into the world? Now, when you have openness, right, where you don't have the gate defined, where you have this hanging gate, the other side of that, of your defined gate is open, right? So then now you're able to receive, you're able to get a taste of that energy through the other, right? Through your environments, through transit. Okay? And so when you have these hanging gates, I usually see them as sockets, right? So say for instance, you got the cord, but not a socket, right? And so basically it's like plugging yourself into the socket so you can get that full flow of energy, right? That full workability of whatever appliance it is, right? And so without this channel, right, you still have your own flavor of energy, right? You still have your own frequency. But when you meet someone with the gate on the other side, now the channel lights up, right? So it will look something like this. So around others, if they bring that matching gate, if they bring that other gate, the one that you don't have, now you're going to have a lit up channel, which impacts the way you show up, which will impact how you express, and how you even experience yourself. So you're not always going to be broadcasting, you're always going to be broadcasting your frequency, right? But while you're waiting for the right connection. So while these are open gates, right? You don't have it active. There's something in you that may be trying to magnetize that energy towards you. There's something in you that is like attracting that energy towards it. So when you get around somebody who have that opposite energy, it's going to impact you. How it's going to impact you, we don't know. Yo no sé, pero it's going to impact you. Okay, y'all, I live in the Bronx, so, every once in a while, we got to put some Spanish up in there. Okay. So an example for this chart, right? I have this channel. So you have gate 58 active, right? So we're going to give an example. This is a hanging gate, right? 58 to 18 is a channel. But this individual have, in its conscious, in its personality and design, it has gate 58 active, right? Now, y'all keep in mind, right? I'm not even talking about how the planets are influencing these gates, right? This is just surface level information. So let's go, right? I just want to throw that out there. So you have this gate 58 active in your chart, right? So gate 58 is about joy and improvement. So with this energy, you will feel an instant click with someone carrying gate 18. Okay, so when someone has that other gate, which is refinement and correction, you may feel some instant kind of connect with them. And that connection can be either supportive or challenging. It just depends on the dynamic. So how that actual click is going to feel for you is so different. There are people I literally meet and like I just be obsessed with them. Like it's the funniest feeling in the world to me. So I don't know if you could resonate where you just meet people and there's just something about them that you're just like, I'm probably like, not you, but I'm just naturally just hyper. So that may express differently for you. But for me, like there's just people I meet that I feel an instant connection to. I feel like I've known them forever. And it doesn't matter where they come from in their walk of life. There's just some people that I'm just obsessed with. And I'm like, clearly this is like an energetic thing that I can't explain, and that's okay. But that's basically the experience we have when we have these hanging gates. Like people come into your energetic field and they light something up, they wake something up in you. And for me, it could be joy, it could be excitement, it could just be this easefulness, this feeling of safety, this feeling of I've known you all my life, or we've done this life before together. I don't know. So for you, like, what does that feel like? And remember, not every activation feels good, okay? Sometimes it's intense or triggering. That's just the energy doing its job. That's just what it does. And for a manifester, these connections can influence what you feel moved to initiate and who you feel drawn towards. This is another important reason why I think it's so important that we know ourselves, we know our energy, we understand who we are, because when you get in other people's energy field, you can get lost in it, right? Like, there's people who get in relationships and lose themselves. And it's because, like, sometimes the energy can be so intense that it overpowers, right? And there's a thing called composite charts. There's a video already up on my page that talk about composite charts, but there's a thing called composite charts, where basically takes two different people's charts and you see how they impact each other. And in these charts, you can see how the energy actually flows together, or where there might be some resistance, or where there might be, two energies, like which one is the more dominant energy, right? And so it's something to keep in mind. But I know for me, one of the things I love about human design is that it's helped me see that I already feel like I'm a different person depending on who I'm around. And not necessarily like my whole being is different, but different people wake up different things in me. Different environments wake up different things in me, right? Am I super talkative, right? Or am I more quiet and observant? Am I more chill? Do I want to be engaged? Do I not, right? All of that is also influenced by who I'm around and what I'm around. And so that's basically the same thing that will happen with these hanging gates. When people come into your energetic field, they may influence you in some kind of way. You have a lot of openness. This is a lot of openness. If I'm like, there's so much that can be happening, especially with this will. I hope you're okay. No, but especially with this this heart, this undefined heart, and then the undefined G center, and then the undefined head. Like, what's going on? What? But yeah. So these things being open, it is very easy for you to like not lose yourself, but for you to like, for a person, I'm not gonna say you, but right, for a person to like not feel as confident, feel like they gotta prove themselves, feel like they're not being seen, feel like they don't have a direction, and because the world we live in tends to kind of like influence us and tell us like, oh, you should know where you're going, you should know your 5-year plan, you should know this, you should know that. It's very easy for someone with an open undefined G center to feel lost in this world. It's very possible for someone with the undefined heart center to feel like they have to prove themselves, they have to work 10 times harder, that they're not being seen, and all these other things, right? All these other dense energies and these limited beliefs that people can carry, because like, you're not, again, I say we might have the same 24 hours, but we are not designed the same. And someone with this kind of openness, especially in these very prominent centers, depending on how they're nurtured, right? Because there's nature and there's nurture. Depending on how they're nurtured, you can easily feel like you're different, or like you're lost, or like you don't fit in this world, because like the way this world works and the way that you're actually designed to be is it just kind of creates some friction naturally. But you are a manifester, okay? And so with that, right, the manifestor energy for me is always very like confident. They very much stand on business. They very much like know where they're going, and they're very usually I'm doing what I want, right? And but it can also come off as very bitter, like where they're so over the world telling them who to be and how to act, that they overcompensate in that they like try to force their way through, as opposed to like standing in their truth, standing in their energy, being the initiator from a place of love and service, right? And when you're doing it from a place of love and service, you're not proving yourself, and you're not trying to get anyone else to see your point of view. You're not trying to convince anyone that you're just being you. You just kind of do your thing and let the world kind of like relax into that, right? Find their own way. But like, you're not helping to cause the resistance by trying to prove yourself, or trying to prove that like, hey, this is just who I am. Trying to explain to people like, I'm not trying to be bossy, I'm not trying to be the problem here, right? Like, I'm just being me, right? And you're interpreting it as something else. So that's something to keep in mind, especially with a manifester. And I don't know, I'm very interested in this undefined heart center, but that's not why we're here.